Okay, what's going on, guys? Look, guys, here we've got a special one this week. What I'm going to be working on behind the scenes is that using the best formation inside the game, but in different variations. This is what you'll see much more on the pro scene now, and what's going on now is that you'll see a 4-3-2-1, maybe with one formation, one left back on get forward or join the attack, and one right back on get forward, join the attack. Now, why? Because if your opponent is playing one way and defending against one right back on overlap, you can just change fullbacks with changing formation. We're going to go through all of this and go through attacks instructions. Basically, it's the same layout, but you've got a defensive 4-3-2-1. More one that's like in a rigid 4-3-2-1 naturally. Then you've got one that defends in a 4-4-2, but that's balanced, the one that we'll normally see. Then we'll see a more attacking variation of it. And then we would see the all-out attack formation, the one to come back inside the game with more attacking options. Let's go through all of them as well. So the first one, we've got the 4-3-2-1. Now, this is just the typical 4-3-2-1. This one doesn't defend in a 4-4-2 because sometimes you want your three centre mids to stay in the centre. You don't want to defend in that 4-4-2, especially if you're up against someone who's playing narrow. So this can help against the 4-2-3-1s, even against the 4-3-3s when you're getting overloaded inside the middle. We've got balance, 39 width, 44 depth, balanced direct passing, and 70 width. 70 width's important because we want the players to be wide. Remember, you're still going to be attacking in that 4-3-2-1 structure, but it'll just be a bit wider, helps you against the press if you're up against the press, trying to close out the game. But you can always decrease it if you want to. 3 players inside the box, corners and free kicks, however you like. The 3 players inside the box, you don't commit to any players going forward. And the key thing is below 45 depth. Don't put 45. As soon as you put 45, your team start pushing up naturally higher. Don't forget EA have told us this. So we put it on 44, and 39 is a good width to use where you hold the center really, really well. Similar to like how a 4-2-3-1 will hold it. But these 3 center mids, they're together and compact. These are the instructions. We've got all 3 strikers on stay central, get it behind and come back in offense. And for all 3 center mids on stay back attacking, cover center. Don't forget, this is the formation you'd be using to close the game out. We've got the left back and right back, both of them on stay back. Of course, you can put overlap if you want to. That's completely up to you. You don't have to. But remember, this would be just a formation to close the game out. Maybe to play a bit more slow, a bit more deliberate and diligent in midfield to hold the ball, as opposed to going gung-ho. Maybe using a lot more 1-2s. Then we're going to go over to the 4-3-2-1. Now, this is the normal 4-3-2-1 that I would use. I do like to use long ball with it, but you can, of course, turn long ball off. So you can just copy these as it is. We've got chance creation on direct passing. We've got 39 width. We're keeping the width the same. So defensively, we still have the same shape. But the depth is increased a bit more. We're applying a bit more pressure off the ball. We're not just sitting there, sitting back. We're trying to get the ball back. Players trying to cut passing lanes. We've got 50 width on the offensive width, and we've got 4 players inside the box. You can actually increase this, but I'll explain to you why we have it on 4 right now. Okay, this is a progressive system. 1 free kicks and corners inside the box. Again, you can do this however you want. If you want to have 4 here, you can. It's up to you. I just pass my corners and free kicks. So what's different from this one from the first one? Well, the first thing is we have the 3 players on stay forward. All 3 of these players on stay forward. Now, this is the reason why I say, when you defend in a 4-4-2, you need to have at least one of these. This is one thing you've got to remember. If you put all these players on stay forward, you would defend in a 4-3-3. If you put all these players on come back in offense, then you'll be defending in a 4-4-2, but the game won't know what shape to shift into. This is important because both of these left back and left wings and right wings, or left forward, right forwards, be trying to come back to close the space. So the way you can force it is that what you can do is you can put them both on come back in offense. And then you can put, for example, one of these players on cover wing, for example, and that way you can force the game to choose the opposite side. So let's say, for example, as an example, I'm just going to put this back to default. Let's say I wanted here Alvarez to cover the wing, and I wanted Alvarez to come back and make the right mid. So it'll be like this. So let's just say we're going to fix up like this. I'm just going to put stand away like this. Bit of switcheroo. Let's say something like this. So now we've got Neymar and Cecina. So we've got Neymar on stay forward, stay central. I'm just going to move Neymar to centre mid. I'm just going to show you how I would do it, so as if you're changing your team. So stay central, stay forward, get it behind. That'll be the main striker. And then the other striker that's going to be on stay forward. Now, which player do you want to come back? Do you want the left-hand side or do you want the right-hand side? If you want the left-hand side to come back in defence, you've got to put that player on come back in defence. But then I'd rather have Valverde. So these are all decisions you got to make when you're doing your team. So for example, these are my 2 attacking players. I'm going to leave them both on stay forward. So when I'm defending, these would be the 2 strikers on stay forward. Valverde will come back in defense. and I put him on getting behind because I like them to go forward. The centre mid, so we got Neymar on cover wing. Now Neymar, if you want to go to the opposite side, so do like this. So these two will be on cover centre. Stanway, Mappy, these will make the two centre mids in a 4-4-2. And Neymar will be on cover wing, and you can put him on balance. That's the most important thing, balanced and cover wing. So you're telling the game now, stay central, stay forward for these two players. Neymar to come back as a right mid on cover wing. That will make him come back as a right mid when you're defending in a 4-4-2. These two players are going to stay put. The Stanway and Mappy Leon in the 4-4-2. And then Valverde is on comeback and defense. That's for those that people could. A lot of people say, no, how do you make these player choices and how do you change it per game? You can always flip it around. And then simply got the left back and right back on overlap. Now, if you want to on this system, you can put one of the fullbacks on balanced if you want, or you can put one of the left backs on balanced. I personally put them both on stay back while attacking. I feel like you don't need to do that until you go to the third variation. So this is a defensive variation. This is an attacking variation that defends in a 4-4-2, applies a bit more pressure. And you can see, for example, here, we've got Valverde becoming a left mid, Mappy Leon and Stanway becoming centre mids, and Neymar becoming a right mid in defensive shape. So we're able to press the ball better, but we're not committing our left back and right back. Then we would move up one step higher to this 4-3-2-1. You can see balanced 45 width, bit higher, bit wider because you want to be in a pressing shape when you're off the ball. Depth we've got on 70. The build-up play, you can use long ball here if you want to, but you can leave this on balance. But as an example, to show you progression here, to show you progressively getting attacking, you can put long ball here. Long ball just helps players make movements. Without long ball, there's no AI movement. People just stand there like I don't know what they're doing half the time, like they're waiting in a restaurant. And then you have 45 width, and the players in the box, you can increase this. Now, personally speaking, I don't like to cross as much as people think. I prefer to pass the ball on the outside and rotate the ball in. I actually rotate a bit earlier, just about this region over there. So that's just something just to bear in mind. I always have that right mid join the attack. Sorry, right back join the attack as I want to. And corners and free kicks how you want to. So the differences with this instruction is we've got one of the fullbacks unbalanced. So do you see how the system now works? So I'm going to really go through this. This is the typical tactics you'll see. Stay central, get it behind. We got Valverde and right mid on comeback and offense. We got Mappy Leon and Stanway both as a cover center. And then we got Alvarez as get forward cover wing. So you can see Alvarez, the other centre mid, is now on get forward as opposed to balance in the formation before. And this side we switched the formation. And this is what I wanted to mention to you. Sometimes I like flipping the formation because let's say, for example, you're up against an opponent, and let's say, for example, I don't know, your right mid is taking a long time to come back. Sometimes your opponent might realize that, and they could change or alter their formation. It happens mainly on the elite level, but they can change and alter their formation to try to exploit you. This is what a lot of top tier players do, even pro players against pro versus pros. That's what they do. So this is basically a flipped version of this formation with one of the fullbacks joining the attack. So you see you have defensive, you got a balanced system, but slightly a bit defensive. Then you got a balanced attacking formation, and that is how you can progressively go through. If you are comfortable, you're very, very comfortable, what you can do is you can put one of these players. So you can put, for example, Olga here on balanced as a left back here on this formation. Let's just say if you're comfortable with doing this, then you can put Olga as a right back on balance. Now, why is this important? If you're inside the game, and let's say your opponent realizes, you're going down this left flank all the time, they might try to instead not be overly pressive with their left mid, because they know if they're overly aggressive, they could get doubled up down the wing. But if you change formation inside the game, and this time you use the right hand side, you can have the same structure, but then you can use the right hand side and your opponent won't know. And you can keep switching this and flipping this. And this is what top tier pro players do. In fact, in a pro scene, what happens now, I can tell you this as a coach. You analyze your opponent's gameplay, and you as the coach, you will tell the person that you're coaching, you better look, this is what the opponent's doing. Let's devise a tactic against it. Let's switch to play. These are just a few things that you can do inside the game that when you're playing, you see your opponent maybe being overly aggressive with the right mid on the opposite side, switch to formation. Do you see now how these small, so using one main formation, but you're just using different variations of it. Then we go over to the 3-4-2-1. You can here if you want to use a 4-4-2, but I really like this formation. This is a very aggressive formation. Is it one to win the ball back? Maybe you could argue a 4-4-2 is better than doing so. Remember, that's the key thing here. I think a 4-4-2 is better than winning the ball back with this instead of using this formation. But this is a more attacking formation. This is basically a 4-3-2-1. except for you have left mids and right mids as opposed to left backs and right backs. And the benefit of that is that you have a left mid and right mid, both of them supporting you as opposed to just one player, and they're a bit more involved in the attack itself. So being involved as opposed to right backs, sometimes the right backs, you probably know what I'm talking about, the right backs that go down the wing, they offer the support in a wide area, but that doesn't mean necessarily they can help the actual play. So that's the thing. Like if you find that that let's say you're inside the game and you find your left back and right, but they're not really doing anything. You want left mid and right mids, someone that you can have the ball with and you can dribble the ball with, and maybe you can have them even getting inside the box naturally without you doing it. You can do something like this. These are the tactics. We've got press out, possession, loss. You can leave this on balance, to be honest. This is probably a bit too over attacking. I'd probably say, I was testing this out, I'm using it now, but even for me, I would say it's a bit over attacking. But balance is what I'd recommend. 55 and then 71 depth is what I'd recommend. Don't forget, you go into the auto offside, auto pressing territory. You got 3 centre backs. You got to be careful. If you're not comfortable, always reduce this. Again, remember, always tune it to your skill level. If I give you this in your rank 1 player, you'll be fine. If you're sitting here watching this in your rank 5 player, use it a few times and figure out, is this too attacking for me? Then just reduce the depth down yourself. Always adjust the formations for your playstyle. It's like the same way how Formula 1 driver adjusts their steering wheel for them, you do the same for you. That's how you get the best performance and your best result. We got long ball and we got forward runs. I just think forward runs is better with most formations, especially 3-back formations. I think it's way more attacking. We've got 60 width just because it's a fairly wide formation with the left mid and right mids being a bit more wider. And your attack, 7 players inside the box. Corners and free kicks however you like, but of course if you really want to go in a progress system, you of course put these on 4. You can consider this like an all-out attack. We got stay central, stay forward for all these 3 players in the middle. So these are the players that are not going to come back in offense. The 2 centre mids on stay back, cover centre. No one join the attack here because otherwise you're going to have no one to help you when you get counter attacked. Okay, now the left mid and right mid. Now we got both of them. You could put also get into the box or cross. So let's say, for example, you want to use a lower players in the box. Remember, instructions override tactics. So if you want these players to always get inside the box, you can do that. Also, we've got them come back in defense, get in behind. So when you're defending, you're going to be defending in the 5-2-3. That's important. 5-2-3. So are you technically going to be in the best pressing state? As I said, no. That is why effectively maybe the 4-4-2 would be a better system. Maybe next week I'll turn this into a 4-4-2, something like that. But that would be the best pressing system. So maybe you can argue this is just for an attacking formation if you want to score goals. But when you're attacking, you've got 5 players. This is undefendable. If you've got your opponent's 5 back, you're matching a player for player. If your opponent's using a 4 back, which is the most common now, 4-4-2, you've got an advantage because you've got an extra player. So you can make real good use of finding space, getting in between the lines and getting forward. This is the only formation, one of the few 3 other formations that you can have 5 strikers that stand in a row. Not like a 5-2-on-2, one's behind. They all stand in a row. So it's a 5-striker formation. So this would be one, for example. Let's say you're inside the game. Let's say, for example, you're losing. You don't have to go gung-ho straight to this formation. You just progressively work your way up. So do you understand? So it depends. The left back and right back, you don't have to have them both on get forward. You can have them on the right back on get forward on this system. And you can have them both on stay back. That's actually what I prefer. I prefer this. So I'd have this formation. This would be maybe even to start the game out. Maybe just to control the game. Just to see how the game is going, to suss out my opponent is what I would do with this formation. Give it like 5 minutes inside the game. Don't concede a kickoff, etc., etc. Then I move to the 4-3-2-1. The second one, the one that's a bit more aggressive. You've got one of the players join the attack. You're defending in a 4-4-2, and you if you want to, you can have one of the fullbacks join the attack. But I've got them both on stay back, and I always prefer. And this is me. This is a top tier elite tip as well. Just trigger them manually, or you can use the D-pad tactic attacking fullbacks and have them go full whenever you want to. That's proper pro elite level tactics right there, as opposed to letting the game to make a decision. You do it yourself. That's why I prefer the L1 triggers a bit more conservatively. Then I've got the one where you're a bit more aggressive. You've got the higher depth. You're pressing the ball. You've got long ball. Players going to be making runs it behind. You've got an AI movement. And you've got one of the right backs on during the attack. And then this would be the one to press the ball, win the ball back, be attacking. If you're losing 1 or 2-0, this would be the formation to use. Whereas this would be like if you're winning or drawing, or this would be like if you're drawing at a stage, or maybe even if you're winning, this one. This is kind of like a universal one as well. But it's a bit more attacking than ultra defensive. And then you have the one which I would say you're losing, you need to get those goals back. Now, that is all the tactics and formations. I hope you enjoyed this video. This is the kind of new setup that I want to do. Maybe I'll do this for every single formation as well. Let me know if you do enjoy this video. But anyways, thanks for watching. Take it easy. And of course, I'll catch you next time. Peace out.